So for those of you who are listening on the recording, we are so happy that you are here, Jay Baba. And tonight we're going to have both paintings and the poetry of Joe DiSabatino, which we are quite thrilled about. I got to see your paintings, Joe, when I was at the center in January,
Right.
meeting place, and that was fantastic. Really enjoyed seeing them in person.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. How long have you been painting?
Oh, as a hobby before I retired, since college.
Uh-huh.
I stumbled on, I started painting accidentally. I signed up my sophomore year of college for what I thought was an art appreciation class. I was looking at slides, and I walk into the classroom and everyone's standing behind an easel. And I go, whoops. And I told the instructor I was going to change. He said, no, and he talked me into staying. So I've been painting ever since. But since I retired, I paint pretty much all the time now.
I love that. And you paint in acrylics or oils?
Mostly acrylics, but I've also done some oils. Yeah.
Well, what would you like to start us out with tonight? Paintings or poetry?
I thought I'd start with a poem, just reading it, and then I'll do a screen share and go through some paintings, and then stop on a painting and read a poem. Okay, does that sound good?
Yeah.
And I just want to thank you, Tracy, for inviting me for this.
Absolutely.
This is a wonderful opportunity to share
Yeah.
my poetry and paintings. Thank you so much. This first one is called "The Way You Walked." Do I come up full screen for this when I'm talking? Do I need to?
It depends on depends on the way we have our screen set. So
Okay.
you don't have to do anything. You're fine.
Okay, all right. So The Way You Walked, and this was inspired by, that 1932 video of Baba's. It was a birthday party for Baba celebration, and he was walking across the field. Someone was holding an umbrella across the head, over his head, but just gracefully walking. So that image, I've always loved that film. I don't know if you're familiar with it. Inspired this poem. Right? The way you walked. The way you walked, light sprinkled across the water. Cirrus clouds streaming east to west. A sudden wind, a swirl of leaves, a sunburst. Humans transport their bodies the way oxen haul a rock-filled cart, bouncing from place to place with a rugged and slow determination. The way you walked, the sight of the great blue heron gliding branch to branch. You leave barely a visible trace on where you have just been. A finger passing through air. Humans traveling leave behind permanent scars. A finger passing through wet cement. The way you walked, I'm tempted to say, as a panther, jaguar, cheetah, bobcat, lynx, snow leopard, puma, white tiger, and swift hawks and fleet dolphins. The music of your glistening limbs, Argentine tangoing us and untangling us awake from our stumbling clumsiness. The way you walked contains all we need to know.
Oh, Jay Baba.
Yeah. I'll go up with do a screen share. Slideshow. There you go. Okay. I'll hold this one for the next poem. Your hands. Baba, it's your hands I love the most. Those finely chiseled fingers, cascading torrents of eloquence. Fervent fingers, bright birds swinging and dancing through the tangled jungles of our ignorance. Your hands so handsome in repose, or strong fingers all aglow, massaging the pain of the world. Or the rivers of grace gliding easily through your open palms into the thirsty hearts of your lovers. The butterfly of my soul alights on your finger, delights in your perfect stillness, lingers. You dip your hands into a river, lift them out, and 1,000 new universes overflow your cupped palms. Start to live. And in a high-rise apartment in some distant city, someone is suddenly able to forgive. It's our hands that make our humanity, our fingers, the visible tendrils of our desiring, shaping the world into our likeness. But your hands, God's laughter, your hands, golden ladles pouring from the bottomless well of infinity. Your hands gather the dumb and scattered stars into twisting spirals of intelligence. He's got the whole wide universe in his hands. He's got our own little Milky Way in his hands. He's got you and me, brother, sister, in his hands. He's got, and your fingers, your star-kissed fingers, untwist the closed jars of our hearts. The butterfly of my heart alights on your finger. The lights in your perfect stillness lingers. So much of your body was broken, but never your hands. Light streams through your fingertips. Love dances in your palms. The 3 rings you wear: knowledge, power, bliss. Knowledge, power, bliss. Knowledge, power, bliss. In this crazy life, if there's one thing I'm sure of, it's this. The butterfly of my soul alights on your finger. The lights in your perfect stillness and lingers.
I love that line. Somewhere in an apartment in some city, someone is able to forgive. That's lovely.
Yeah. I was thinking that every time Baba put his hand in water, he said he performed a miracle somewhere. So I was thinking of that. Just run through a few.
That's lovely.
Some of the paintings I do, I like to have like Baba's coming in and out of his creation. He's coming out of it and also dissolving back into it. So,
They almost look like oil pastels.
no, that's I think that's acrylic. This one, yeah. Thanks.
And they're all acrylic.
This one isn't. This is oil pastel. Yeah. That's oil pastel.
Will you redo this and go slower, please?
Redo? What do you mean?
Start at the beginning.
Really? Did you miss them?
They went really fast for me.
It is a little fast, Joe. It's a little fast.
Okay, no problem.
I want to take in your work.
Okay, right.
I swear I won't do hours per print.
I'll hold this one. And Easter's coming. All right, so this is Baba, avatar, any avatars, Jesus, Baba, Easter come. Take us to the place. On this Easter, take us to the place where your silence proudly billows, a mighty truth-filled sail. Take us to the place before your suffering, the nails. Before you leave this earth, pull aside a veil. Watch our lights leap up, joyfully dance with yours. Touch our outstretched hands. Point us down straight trails. Leave a crack in our doors. Help us find your holy lands. Take us to the place where our dreams flow into seas. Swamp our leaky boats like a humpback whale. Take us to the place of your singing, the Holy Grail. Remind us once again what you told us we forgot. Then take us to that place where you do and we do not. Wine us until we topple, then wheel us to that place where we sleep but do not slumber. Smudge our silhouettes, make them fuzzy, indistinct. Take us to the place where your secrets fill our chests. Take us to the brink. Longing, falling, hasten us to our final defeat. Take us to the place where we walk inside your feet. Weigh us on your scales, bundle our darks, lights, loves, hates, then torch us into shimmering filaments of grace. Take us to that place. Take us to the place you say we never left. Break our pictures, our mirrors, overtake us and awake us. Take us to the place where no fear is.
Lovely. I really think this color you're using is fantastic. This cobalt blue and the aquamarines, they're just incredible.
Okay.
Really like them. This reminds me a little bit of Will David, you know, that sort of quality that his work has.
Sometimes I just make things up. This was just made up. I wasn't looking at a photo of Bob. And this chair at Montley Hall just, radiates his presence. This one, like Van Gogh did paintings of chairs and empty chairs. And
This is acrylic?
I think this is oil. And
Wow, what fun colors you
the chair, the chair embodies Baba's, it just exudes his presence. I just wanted to give that feeling. And also the point of view, it's like I'm bowing down or just getting ready to bow down or just coming up. So it's from a lower angle looking up. That again, everyone suggests, Baba is like coming through on the edge of the illusion and then coming through and disappearing out of the illusion.
Do you ever, is this a photo collage?
No.
No.
No. Oh, just think of a children's birthday party. I've done numerous paintings of the center, working from photographs, not there. I capture at different times of year, different moods. This was like a cloudy fall day, autumn day.
You can really feel the glimmering of the water onto the trees in this.
Just studying complementary colors, violet and yellow. That's an oil.
That's just fabulous.
Yeah, it really is.
Okay.
I could spend a lot of time there.
Yeah, it's really good. There's so much there.
So did you hang out there and paint, or did you take a picture of it and work at home?
I worked it from a photograph. Yeah. David Barrison used to paint. He's the only one I know of that used to set up in East London Center. He got permission.
They don't let you paint on center?
They may. I never asked. I just decided to work from photos.
Do you know why they don't let people paint on center?
I don't know that that's a rule. Maybe they will. But I've never seen anyone else do it beside him. They might make an exception or might say yes if people ask. Actually, this was the photograph cropped off the top of his head. Actually, the painting goes up a little bit, so I got his whole head in. Again, like the other painting, it's like the viewers coming right in, flowing into the roses from his heart are coming out at you, the viewer, and also you're flowing in. It's like a river of roses that pulls, hopefully will pull the eye right into Baba's heart. And I've done semi-abstracts of the samadhi, number of them. This is called Evening Arti. And this to capture my feeling of the arti. So I would put the samadhi in and just like a river or a Niagara Falls of grace or something, I guess I was thinking.
That's another one you could spend a lot of time with.
Some of those waterfalls look like I could see faces and bodies.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
life.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to go to the next one. That's just, are those two?
Yeah, this is what do they call them? Two paintings, two canvases. I kind of channeled Monet there. I like this painting. Monet's water lilies, yeah, and
it's lovely the way it's so, yellow and orange on the left and then so blue and green on the right. But still connected through the bridge.
Yeah, and the bridge is like distortedly long, but it's sort of I don't know, maybe suggestive of the spiritual path in a way, leading.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. I was there when there was a hurricane, and part of that cedar tree that's right here in the middle fell.
That's right.
And I got about 3 feet of it, and I just gave it to Fred Zimmerman so that he could cut it into bowls.
Right.
He's gonna turn it into bowls.
Yeah, I collect pieces like that. So.
Yeah. Oh, that's really fantastic.
I'll read a poem with this one.
Yeah.
Called If It Is God's Fire. If it is God's fire that ignites into being the most first atom, then what takes my heart so long, his true love, to fathom? If the light in God's eye is also the sparkle from the nugget of gold, then why not his perpetual gleam inside the darkness of my soul? If God's face can appear on a tree outside his beloved's window, where she wept and wept unseen, then why not on the rough bark of me? If God's hands can be seen in the traceless flutter of blackbird wings, then what hand weighs down my spirit that so wants to soar and sing? If the dolphin's masterly threading of wind, water, and waves offers a hint of God's ever graceful ways, then why must I stumble, continue to sin? If God's unblinking mystery stares through the cobra's fierce eye, then why am I so afraid to fully embrace the truth of my own inner sky? If God can infuse awe of himself into a chosen young man, then why don't we empty ourselves so he can do it again and again? If Baba's face can appear on a tree just outside his beloved's window, where she wept and wept unseen, then why not on the rough bark of me? Why not on the rough bark of me? Sometimes I try with paintings, get a unique angle, something different. And I like this angle. I like the 3 water pots that are there at the samadhi. I wasn't thinking of it at the time, but afterwards I thought, yeah, it could be symbolic, like the three water pods grow subtle mental planes leading to the samadhi of the seven. Like I said, I like to include the samadhi in semi-abstract ways also. So this is morning arti. I think I called this one. I used some spray paint with this. I got the effect. Everything but Baba's coat and face and did with spray paint. My hair's on.
And Joe, is this gesso that you have underneath the painting to give the relief?
No, I probably just put it on thick in places. Yeah. And sometimes
Joe, are you saying you didn't have any formal training in art?
I never went to art school.
You what?
I never went to art school. I'm all totally self-taught. I think I took one class.
Wow.
I didn't like it. I didn't like painting with other people. So. Maybe this was Fire of Love. No, Love is a Fire. Love is a Fire. And again, abstract, samadhi, angels, flows of energy, flows of love energy. Okay, more.
This isn't photo collage, but you actually painted that samadhi. All of that was from painting.
Right. I'm just painting like a feeling. Yeah.
Is there an average of how long you spend creating?
Per painting, I can do a painting in 4 or 5 days, depends on the size. Like I'll work on it for a week or something. Put it, yeah. I just concentrate on it. A small, a small one. Bigger ones take longer. This is another one where Baba's coming in and out of the illusion. And it's the only painting he ever had words on, but it conveys the idea that he's form and formless. So he's half here and half not. He's half in form and half not in form. And I'm always fascinated or wonder with Baba's statements there at the end before he dropped the body. I'm not this body. I'm not this body. So I thought, well, how can you paint that? I wanted to paint Baba as not the body. So these are my attempts to do that. And I was also inspired by Linat because I think he was getting at the same thing.
At one point, I owned an early version of this when formless wasn't fully on the canvas.
Oh, is that you who owned it, right? And it came back, and I've reworked it. I've improved it.
Yeah, you've reworked it some, yeah. But I still love it. All the ones where he's coming out or drawing you in, between the worlds kind of thing, because that's kind of
Baba's form, and since I came back to, and I moved the formless out, so
yeah.
Came back. And just a splash of color, splash like the Big Bang or something like it. That's what the sense I want to do. This is pour paintings. I did, people are doing pour paintings. You pour it on with silicone and it gives those cells. And so I've been doing these with, I'm the ocean of love, I think they call this. You can never get these cells with a paintbrush. It would be impossible. So it just happens when you put some silicone and pouring medium and paint, mix it, and you pour them on all the different colors, and you moisten a paper towel and drag it over, just loosely drag it over, and all these cells appear. And then I painted Baba in. Somebody in Kansas just bought this. I was happy to have a Baba painting in Kansas. I want to go back and read a poem. This is appropriate. It's called Swimming to You. Yesterday in the Samadhi, I dove through the marble surface. Down, down, down I plunged into the ocean of you. Just when I saw the shimmering white pearl of your face, far off in the fathomless deep, my lungs started to burst. I panicked and floated up back into myself. Your fingers make waves in me. Since I'm afraid to call it love, capital L, let's call it swimming. Lately, I've been training for that big ocean feat in your Olympic-sized pool. I'm up to 50 laps now. Every morning I run 5 miles along your beach, psyching myself up for that far-off day when I crash through the wild surf of your smile and keep on going. Some days I snorkel close to shore, delighting in those exotic sea creatures just below your surface. Your fingers make waves in me. Since I'm afraid to call it love, capital L, let's call it swimming. To be honest, most of the time I'm content to splash and play in your baby pool, in just 2 feet of water, singing songs of praise to you, sipping margaritas, the water not too cold, not too deep, everything just right, my preferences set to normal. Welcome to my world, Baba. Won't you come on in? Your fingers make waves in me. Since I'm afraid to call it love, capital L, let's call it swimming. I'm going to take up windsurfing next. I want to fly across the surface of your waves, feel the strong breeze of your breath on my cheeks. I want to discover what lies beyond the far horizon of your gaze. I want to explore that endless space, get to know the hidden currents, map out this thing that one day is going to swallow me without a trace. Your fingers make waves in me. Baba, since I'm afraid to call it love, capital L, can we call it swimming? All right, I'm just about out of time. I'll go through another painting or two and click off. I like this one, the Lagoon Cabin. I did that a number of years ago. It's an acrylic, kind of almost looks like a watercolor, but all right, this is kind of a controversial painting. I did it last year in commemoration of Baba's, what was it, 70th anniversary of the car accident. And I've had this idea for 10 years, and I kept resisting painting it. I didn't feel I could do it. I couldn't, I didn't want to do it, but the image kept coming to me with the Indians, and it wouldn't leave me alone. And finally I thought, well, I don't want to die without having painted it, since I keep getting the instinct to paint it. So I did it. Some people didn't think it was appropriate, a couple people, to have it hanging in the show at the center.
Why didn't they like it? What didn't they think was appropriate about it?
To show Baba bleeding, I guess. I didn't hear the details of why. But then my justification as well, all of Catholic art in Europe for centuries was Jesus on the cross, or being put on the cross. He was bloodied and half naked, the Pieta, and that's what's meant to stop us in our tracks and contemplate his suffering or his crucifixion. And so I just thought this is, Baba was said he was crucified all the time, every moment, but this was a particular strong incident in his crucifixion. And for Northeast, he had said I had to shed my blood for North America, which is why I included the whole continent. And then I think the connection with Native Americans and the Trail of Tears that he followed with the Cherokee. Anybody think it's not appropriate to do this? I'm open, whatever.
No, I think people bleed. Bob was in a physical body. I think it's totally appropriate to show it.
I think it's necessary so that we don't get caught in this sanitized, appropriate, no blood kind of business. And
Yeah.
I see the trail of blood tears there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they transform into roses at the bottom, the transfer.
Yeah. And then it seems as if the blood is actually feeding the roses and that they grow up from that. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And this is Chief Joseph up here. He's my favorite Indian.
Yeah.
Has purse. That's him.
Well, yeah. Have you been to Joseph, Oregon?
No, but I really like
a Baba lover, Alan Fambrini lives there. I stayed with him for a while and climbed those mountains and
really
the Nez Perce people. Anyway, so there you go.
Yeah, so I just want to feature him. And there's
sorry you have to put up with the the inevitable feedback.
I knew there's going to be.
Of course, you knew it. Yeah.
And that's okay. But I have right from Chief Joseph's heart, there's like a little bit of red line that goes down to the car, goes here, and right to Baba's.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
Blood connection between Baba and the Indians. I don't know, but it's kind of.
Thanks for pointing that out. I couldn't see it on the small screen here.
Yeah. And his car, the person that hit Baba's car, it wasn't a pink car, it was a tan. But for the sake of the painting, pink is kind of green. And also I reversed it. I didn't realize that actually Baba's car was going the other direction, and I didn't realize that. But it doesn't make any difference. It's like,
it doesn't.
No one would notice that. So anyway,
we're not going to take away your artistic license.
All right. And and with this is back when the gondola was in the lake, the gondola got all the attention, and it was like the princess and the poor little rowboat, everybody took for granted. So I wanted to elevate the rowboat and give it some status, and so I painted it. Yeah. All right. Oh yeah, Baba's Krishna, that one. Someone bought that one, so it's in Myrtle Beach. All right, so I'm out of time, so I should stop there.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
Does anybody want to ask any questions before we hear a little bit of Brian Darnell? We've been asking questions all along the way. Those were really lovely. It was such a rich experience to be able to hear the poetry and see the paintings at the same time. It was really beautiful. I'm so glad we decided to do them together. And and so can you type up on the sidebar, how people can get in touch with you if anybody today or when they're listening to the recordings would like to
just put in
ask you about pricing for your paintings?
Put in the chat box here.
Yeah, put in the chat box.
Yeah,
you can just type it out for everyone, and even in the recordings they should be able to see that so that they can reach out to you if they'd like to commission a painting or.
Oh, so I put email. It should be Gmail. It should be Gmail. I'll do it again. Oops. I'm a terrible typist.
And do you have a website, Joe?
My paintings are on fineartamerica.com.
Okay.
And if you just go, I'll do this. Fine.
Can you repeat that?
Yeah, I'm going to type it in fineartamerica.com. And then
That's where we get.
there's artists. You just look up.
That's where we get pen stuff.
Under artists, you look up Joe DiSabatino. I'll ask you to either put topic or artist at the top when you go to their main page, and just type in my name, Joe DiSabatino. And all my paintings, the abstracts, Baba paintings, etc. And you can make prints, you can make greeting cards, you can do T-shirts, you can do any number of things with the images. Yeah. So, and they do it, all kinds of things.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Lovely to see them. Keep painting.
I plan to.
Oh, good. Yay. Well, so the plan was to split the hour with Joe and Brian Darnell. So Brian, I got to spend some time with Brian in January at the center, and he told me that he listens to every single one of these. So that is good to know. I've tried several times to get him to read for us, and he will not do it. So we're just going to have to make ourselves happy with the very few YouTube videos we have of his songs. And fortunately, he posts everything he writes up on his website. And he went through a phase where he wasn't writing for a while. The poems were not coming, but they're coming again. So he's got a lot of new work up, and it's all there. So it's so wonderful to have that kind of ability just to pull them up. You don't even have to get the book. So it's always hard for me to decide, should we listen to a poem? Should we hear a song? But we'll start with Save Me. And it's right here on, let's see. I need to go to, hang on for a second. Christmas security pods, I'm going to break up injections. There's a little thing where you try to work on the sound, make sure the sound is good. Share, it's under share screen, right? Share sound.
Will you shelter me from the wind rain? Will you hold me softly call my name? Will you share the secret of love's sweet mystery? Will you give your word? Save me. Save. Will you comfort me in the shadows of the night? Will you walk with me? Shine. Will you love me and show my way? Will you give your word? Say,
Isn't good.
You kept silent all those years. Shall I count the moments I tears? Will you speak to me now? Forever hold your peace. Forgive your word. Say, say. Will you whisper to me with the depths of my heart? Will you promise me never? Will you break your side just to set me free? Will you give your word? Say, say.
So good.
Tracy,
Yes.
the sound isn't good.
Really?
No, it's hard to hear. It's very,
No, it's
Really?
it
That's
just
odd.
this is just an audio, right?
No, there was video.
We did not see video, and we heard a very sketchy audio.
No, okay, good to know. All right, so that makes me think the share screen did not go through.
that didn't. That's what
Do
happened.
you want to do it again, or should I just move on to the poem? And I do have another video we can watch of him, so I'll make sure that the share screen went through.
Okay, because I tried to tell you in the middle, and unfortunately, you didn't see. And I can do things like this to bring
Yeah,
your
I had
attention.
it on full screen, so I couldn't see anything. You can text me next time.
I don't.
Yeah, okay. All right. Moving on. Thank you for telling me though. This one is called A Host of Angels. Billions of souls afloat in the cosmos, and I'm on my way home. Like the brother in the field, I dropped my scythe where I stood. There's another harvest I must attend, where I'll be cut off at the knees. My horse has gotten a whiff of the barn. Nothing can keep me now from my beloved's gate. My name in his throat, the name he gave me ages ago when I was first sent out. A host of angels over my shoulder and the highway rising up to greet me. Billions of laboring souls lost in the maze, tossing in feverish sleep. And my beloved has come to awaken me. Billions of souls drunken from rage, lust, and hate, and my beloved offering his sobering wine. O child of God, look beyond this ephemeral existence into the ageless face of your beloved.
Beautiful.
I've said it before, I'll say it again. When I read Brian Darnell's poetry, I have to ask myself, why do I even bother to write poetry? It's just amazing. Class of his own. This one's called Heart of Mine. Heart of mine, be a dark rose, pleasing in scent and shade, an anchor around which my puttering boat circles, a house left to seed, wisteria growing through every crack, the fruit of nothingness, a beast of burden caked with sweat and dust, banked fire under soil and snow, valley floor below the mountain ridges. Heart of mine, become a flame to devour this crumbling dream of self. O child of God, you belong to the beloved who will shape your heart as he pleases. This one's called Shallow Grave. This old watch will not be repaired, but tossed into a drawer to collect dust. A pine box of bones and a suit of rags lowered into a shallow grave. Giving up any notion of salvation, all I have is your name on my tongue and the cold stone of your tomb. I won't be saved, but you will. Love prevails, and whatever shards and shavings by your grip are firmly shaken for me will not drop into the grave, but catch the wind, spill and glint brilliantly upon the freshly turned earth. O child of God, can you measure a dream? What is the value of God's hand placed upon your shoulder? This one is called Till Spring. I thought wine was a gift, so I complained when the intoxication wore off. Now I find seedlings of your mercy scattered everywhere. Roses along the spine, their scent years later reaching my nostrils, and the still quiet pool beneath my ribs, the grassy meadows, the web of rills. I'd packed for a long journey. You motioned for me to set down my bags and share one last cup. Becoming inconsolable, drunk, and unruly, the taxi left without me. You led me back inside. There's a garden in my chest, and you've invited me to stick around till spring. O child of God, whatever the beloved has planned for you, be sure it's nothing like what you imagined. That's good. So we are going to hear, to move all these little screens around. This is a song I really love. I'm Not the Man. Let's see if I can do this correctly this time. Share screen. Share sound. Share. Are you seeing the images of him on there?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I think we're good to go.
I guess I learned early on how to stay protected. Build a wall around myself, let nobody through. By the gift and debt of love, remain unaffected. Thank God for the loneliness that leads to you. Low desires and deep regrets in a constant turn. My mistress was the world. She proved to be untrue. Through corruption and deceit, I saw your pure flame burn. Thank God for the sinfulness that leads to you. I'm not the man that I used to be. Since you gave your love to me, I don't know who I am. Finding myself is a mystery. Take what you require of me. Show me who I am. Living in your aftermath, feel like a dead man walking. Burned in the fires of love, all I thought was true. Through the ashes and the grief, I hear your true calling. Thank God for the hopelessness that leads to you. I'm not the man that I used to be. Since you shed your grace on me, I don't know who I am. Finding myself is my destiny. Take what you require of me. Show me who I am. Take what you require of me. Show me who I am. Take what you require of me. Show me who I am. Take what you require of me. Show me who I am. Take what you require of me. J-Bob.
We can listen for the last song. We can listen to the one that I messed up. If I still have it here. I think I do. What songs we have? So as you all know, Brian Darnell is from the South. He was very influenced by his early upbringing in Christianity. I love the way he weaves those together. This one's called Darkness Gathers.
I'd just like to add something here, but
Yeah.
brings me back. You know, we do things, poetry, song, paintings, whatever we put out there, and they can really touch people, and we don't even know. I got to tell this to Brian once. He probably doesn't remember, but I don't know if can you see me? Am I on screen or am I off?
Yeah, you're on screen.
Oh, okay. Baba threw me into a new life at one point, when I got molded out and had to give up everything. I gave away all those beautiful Joe DiSabatino paintings. I gave everything away because I had nothing. I was traveling across country in a souped up Subaru, in my 50s, totally stupid. But Brian Darnell songs, I sang them back and forth across the country during those years. And I ended up living at the Heartland Center for a while and, living in Nirvana for a while and then back at the Heartland Center, then over to India, doing all these things. But his songs kept me going. And, definitely it was a path through loneliness and sinfulness and hopelessness. That's a nice progression. Your loneliness, okay, then you realize sinfulness, then you make it all the way to hopelessness. This is his blessing, Just sharing that.
Yeah.
I haven't played the songs in a while. It just brought me back.
Yeah. They're so fantastic. I had the same experience with Brian Darnell's poetry. I can be in whatever weird, crazy state of mind or mood or burdened about something, and I listen to his poetry, and it just completely realigns how I'm feeling about the whole thing, and suddenly everything just seems pretty fantastic, even as bad as it is.
I think it's going to be for seekers,
Yeah.
the next 700 years at least, that will come to Baba and find this as solace for their soul on their
I
journey.
totally agree with you. I actually, when I saw him, I said to him, I will happily pay for you to go into a studio and record your new poems as songs. Just send me the bill, because I just wanted them to be out there in the world. And he said, I'm just done. I'm just done with it. And I was like, you don't understand. We need more Brian Darnell. But,
So he's sticking to the not performing or singing anymore.
so far, but I think we should just talk about it some more with him, because every time
Found the right
we haven't found the right angle. Yeah, I just wish we had more of his work to imbibe in. It was so great to have him at the center performing.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Hey, I'm still a certified novice about poetry, but I noticed that Brian has always the same sort of conclusion, oh child.
Not always, actually.
He doesn't
Isn't-
do it in all of his poems, but he does it in some. Yeah. If you grab one of his
Doesn't in
books.
many, but not all of them.
Yeah, there's several books. He's got several books. They're not all there. But
Okay.
yes, it is something that he's
I
been
read
doing.
a lot of his
Yeah.
poetry.
Okay.
But did you have a
It's kind
question
of like
about it?
it's kind of like a signature.
It's kind of like a signature. Yeah, it is.
You know, once you hear that, it's Brian's.
Exactly. Yeah. I think it's very effective. I actually really like it.
That's the guzzle format. I bow to that with his.
Same thing. That's reminiscent of the guzzle.
Yeah.
I mean, Brian's are not formal guzzles, but the last two lines where he's addressing himself, or he gives himself a name, a moniker for those are it's like the guzzle. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they are guzzles. They're like Western guzzles.
Right. Yeah. We'll have to think of a name for that, for Western guzzles, to come up with a name.
Yeah. It's a new art form, Western guzzles.
It is a new art form.
Poetry form. It's true. That's
Might be
right.
Baba lovers who carry it into the world.
Yeah.
Johnny, did we answer your question?
Well, yeah, I was just wondering if there was like have you ever heard him talk about that style choice? So it's not in everything, but it's in many. And it's just an interesting, like I said, it's like a signature.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The thing I love about that phrase that he uses is it's like he's directing it to you as the reader, and I think reminding us that we are children of God. And that for some people is a big reminder, because a lot of times people don't feel that they're worthy of being thought of that way, or they don't feel that they are the child of anything divine. So I love it because to me, it really brings the reader in as a member of that whole process.
Yep.
That he's talking about.
Grazie.
Prego. This one's called Darkness Gathers. I used to panic, not feeling your touch, but now I know you're only adjusting your grip. You have your hand on me. That's the rare kernel of this odd, random life. My comfort is this dreamscape of impairment, bewilderment, and fear. I've gladly forked over all my cash. The truth will come out in the end. Someone will be by to collect my ticket. I'll give him the one you purchased. Authorities will ask for my papers. We'll find out who I really am. Darkness gathers as the train hurtles toward the outer provinces. The cold sharpens, tongues become stranger and more raucous. I panic when I get the notion that I'm a lone traveler. I don't know where I'm going. But you are by the window. Your scent lingers in the narrow compartment. You've just stepped out for a bit of air. Oh, child of God, you want freedom from pain. Love is an acid that dissolves every bond you hold dear.
Love is an acid.
Oh, it's like a breath of fresh air. Here's actually Brian reading. Let me see if I think I tossed. Well, I deleted. So yeah, I can't play the thing that I didn't play correctly for you. I'm sorry, but here's Brian reading 2 of his poems. Lovely to hear.
So anyway,
Hang on, let me do this right. Oh, I'm still screen sharing. Okay, good. Well, that's easy.
I'll start out with a couple of poems, and one of them is about Baba lovers, and it's called Private Stock. We're not the kind of drunks who engage in arguments and fisticuffs, who climb upon tables and loudly hold forth. We drift to the edges, sink deeply into intoxication. Wonderment holds our tongues. We know when we've had enough, the wall we're leaning against becomes the floor. We might be coaxed into singing cheek to cheek with other drunks, the timbre of some clear with purity of intent, others raspy from longing and a lifetime of sorrow. We're the ones with sodden hearts, befuddled brains. If we have a clear thought at all, it's how extraordinarily fortunate we are to have found our way to the tavern and been served from the winekeeper's private stock. O child of God, how rare is this gift of wine. Few in all the world has ever known its taste. All right. And another one is the poem that is on the back of the book, which my brother told me nobody can read the print. It's too small to read, but it's in the book. So it's called Knowledge of the Heart. There are deeper truths, I gather, than the grace of your hands, the light in your eyes, more to grasp than your gown's hem. Actions to be taken, vows to uphold beyond mere devotion and remembrance. But whenever the conversation at the table gets too heavy, you give a wink and we leave the others, taking our wine cups into the garden to view the stars, enjoy the night air, perhaps share a poem or two. There's work to be done, but Lord, let's save it for another lifetime. While I have you here, if it be your pleasure, let me hold you and hold you and hold you until this weary world and my form within it fades into dust and nothingness. O child of God, you've grown dangerously fond of his wine and that delicious prasad called knowledge of the heart.
Well, it's a good place to end, my friends, companions on the spiritual journey. Glad we could all share this hour together. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, Joe, for sharing your beautiful paintings and your lovely poems.
Thank you.
I know everyone was really touched by them. I genuinely was.